Welcome back, mother flippers, to some shites and giggles. Got some more, I guess, humor stories here. So this actually just happened a few minutes before I sat down to record this. But I have like four binders filled with various sports cards. Like I'm talking football, baseball, and basketball. I could have sworn I had hockey at some point, but I didn't. It turns out I didn't have any hockey cards at all. But yeah, got one full binder of football cards, two binders of baseball cards, and then one binder for basketball cards. Just all like I would like when I was a kid. I just used to just love buying up card packs like as if they were Yu-Gi-Oh cards or something. And I would just I wouldn't even put them in alphabetical order. I think there was a certain way that you're supposed to insert your trading cards if you had like card sleeves and binders for them, but I never did it. I kind of just put them in the order that I received them as they came out the pack. And I have a good amount of them. Some of them are like from recent years, from like the early 2000s to I want to say maybe 2008. Then there's a good amount of cards that are actually from the 90s, maybe late 80s. I think the oldest card I have is a Boomer Easy Eisen. I don't know how to say his last name. He played for the Bengals, the quarterback, left-handed guy. Yeah, I have two of his cards from one of them from 1984. And I was thinking, I've been sitting on these damn cards for a while now, so I figured, why not, uh, why not try to take them to a pawn shop and sell these bitches? But before I looked up pawn shops, I was looking up certain cards I had. I was looking up some of the older cards that I had on eBay, and they're all literally worth like $5 at most. I'm like $5. Fuck me. Like these are old cards. Like these are like revered players, and this card is only worth $5. So it actually turns out that that since there were so many cards made from the from 90s all the way to the 2000s, or yeah, from 1990 all the way to 2000, that there's so many cards made that they're not quite worth as much yet, as or at least they're not quite worth as much as like a card from like the 70s, which that actually kind of makes sense. But I was like, yeah, let me see if I can take them to a pawn shop anyway. I mean, shit, two to $5 times fucking 300 cards. I mean, that's gonna add up. You know what I mean? So I looked up some places in my area. One of them is like, it's a little far. There's actually one place that's close to my college that I thought about taking it to. I gave them a call. They said, hey, yeah, I mean, I'd take a look at your cards. I'd have to see them. And it was, okay, it's understandable. Kind of like in GameStop or J Street, where like they can't tell you if a game could be worth anything unless you bring it in, so then try to trade it in. Then I called in one place called I'm not gonna say the entire name, but it's called the Trading Post. It's like the name of the road and then Trading Post. And so I called this guy up, right? And I was like, hey, dude, I was wondering if y'all bought sports cards, like trading cards and whatnot. And he said, nah, dude, you're like the sixth person today. I was like, holy shit, am I really? So he goes on to tell me that that I think they used to buy them in the past, and that they don't do them anymore, or they don't buy them anymore. And he actually tells me that the only place that would buy my cards would be a place that's like it's a bit of a ways away from me. Then it was a place that I had come across in my Google searching, and the guy on the phone tells me straight up that like, yeah, he might be the only person that'll buy him for you, or that I buy him from you, but he won't really give you much for it. He tells me that I'm better off selling the damn things on eBay. I'm like, all right, well, yeah, thanks a lot. So I'm like, yeah. So now I'm torn between trying to sell each individual fucking card on eBay, or just taking them all to this pawn shop that's near my college to see what they can give me for it, if anything at all. Because they're pretty recent cards. I don't really think they're worth much. They might not be. Who the fuck knows, really? I have two different Larry Bird cards, man. Fuck. Charles Barkley. What else I got? Got a few Steve Smith seniors. Yeah. This one happened about 2 weekends ago. I was at work, and any of my coworkers who see this video might remember what went down, or at least remember walking into the smell after it had happened. So there's like, I want to say 20 to 15 minutes left in my shift, and we have a long line, and I'm dealing with customers. I'm ringing them up. I'm at the register. My store manager is next to me. She's on the second register doing whatever it is that store managers do on a second computer. And I'm just ringing people up. Spitting out these promotions, spitting out these deals, trying to get people to buy more stuff. And at some point, we just hear this loud bang. It's like, it wasn't even a bang, it was more of a boom. Like a deep sounding boom, right? It was pretty loud. Came from somewhere in the front of the store. So one of my coworkers, she walks around looking for what the source of that noise was. And at some point, we started smelling rotten eggs. About 2 minutes after the bang went off. So it turns out somebody dropped a stink bomb, and this stink bomb smelled like eggs. Like it was as if somebody let out a massive fart. Like some fat motherfucker came in and just dropped his pants and just farted upwards and let the fart cloud emerge from his asshole and float around the whole store so that it can molest the customer's nostrils and my nostrils as well. Thankfully, I wasn't in there for much longer. I got off about like 10 minutes later after that, and I went to go about the rest of my Saturday. Had dinner with the family. Went to another mall entirely because I work at a mall, and I remember Snapchatting my coworker, or one of my managers actually. I actually gave him a heads up before I left. I was like, "Hey, yo, mate, so somebody let out a stink bomb. You might smell rotten eggs when you come in." So later that night, he actually replies to me. He's like, "Hey, that smell stayed for 5 fucking hours." I'm like, Jesus tits. I'm glad I didn't go back to that mall because yeah, I'm glad I didn't go back to that mall because of the people. My family that that I went and have dinner with, we were thinking about going back into the mall, but then we thought about going to a different mall entirely instead of going back to the same mall. So I'm just glad we went to a different mall entirely because I didn't want to go back in there and smell a fat motherfucker farting in the form of somebody dropping his damn stink bomb. All right, now this one actually happened a while ago. I work for, besides the day job that I mentioned before, I also work for seasonal for a live theater that just happens to be next door to my house. It's pretty convenient. I don't have to walk very far. So basically, I'm basically a security / night watchman. I stand out there and I make sure that these people's vehicles are unharmed. I let people in, I let them out. I make sure ain't nobody messing with the electrical box behind the building, kind of stuff like that. I just stand out there. I listen. It's probably the easiest damn job I've ever had to do. I stand out there. I listen to my music or my podcasts, and I just keep a lookout. Plain and simple. So now one night was pretty chilly. I had my zip hoodie under a jean vest because I have this jean vest that I have a bunch of buttons on. And I had it was pretty chilly, so I had that on. I had a scarf on. I also had a face shield on. If you don't know what a face shield is, it's basically it's like this really tight sleeve that you can put over. You can actually wear it however you want. But the way I was wearing it like a face mask to protect my face from the cold. I also had my hands buried into my vest's pockets. Well, actually, my hands were gloved, and they were wrapped around. They were wrapped in my jacket sleeves, and they were buried into my vest's pockets. And I emphasize this because at some point, a car with 2 police officers in it, they pull over in the corner right where I'm standing, and the officer in the passenger seat, he lowers his window. And I'm like, oh, hey, he lowers his window and he looks directly at me. I'm like, okay, so this young officer, he wants something from me, obviously. So now I'm listening. I think I'm listening to music or I'm listening to a podcast, and I immediately go to try to pause my whatever it is I'm listening to, because like I have a pair of those earbuds where with the built-in microphone where you could just click it and it'll pause whatever you're listening to. So I go to take my hands out my pockets, but my hands are stuck. My fucking hands are stuck in my vest pockets. This young police officer is taking time to like talk to me. I mean, to like willingly come up and talk to me, like for what, or ask me a question or whatever. And I'm like, I'm fucking taking forever. I'm fucking flipping my hands and my arms around like a maniac because my hands are stuck in my damn pockets. Like shit, like I'm flapping, I'm literally flapping my vest pockets as if they were a pair of wings, and I'm trying to fly away from the popo. Eventually, I get my hands free, and I pause my music or my podcast or whatever. Take my earbuds out. I also lower my mask because you know I have to do that. And so this police officer in the passenger seat, you know, I go up and talk to him like, hey, how you doing? He's like, he asked me, what are you doing? I was like, oh, well, I'm staying out here. I'm working for the theater, sir. And he's like, where'd you get that mask? It's like, oh, I bought it off of this place. I actually forget the name of the site, but I was like, yeah, I bought it off of this website online. It was part of a promotion where you buy one get five free or what. It was basically five or six of them for $20 or $25. It was actually a pretty good deal. And and I told him that. He's like, oh, okay. And then the officer in the driver's seat was like, yeah, man, that problem's been going around. But the reason we stopped was because the one you're wearing, because no, the reason they stopped was because the one I was wearing was one that he had and that he lost, or that somebody stole it from him. So I just happened to be standing out there wearing the same exact face shield that this police officer owned at some point and then he lost. So the officer in the passenger seat, so he's like he was telling me that they were driving around, and he looks at his partner and he says, "Hey, I think that guy has your mask." So yeah, it was interesting. I never had no cops come up and talk to me and ask me what I was doing or where I got this item from. I almost thought I was gonna be in trouble, but yeah, it was pretty interesting. All right, well, that's all I can talk about for now. I really want to try to upload more often. Like, I mean, the last video that I put up before the Killing Floors one that maybe two of y'all might saw, it was like from like 2 months ago. I want to upload more often, but you know, I've just been busy with school and work and all that. But I do want to try to make more of these. I do want to start up a new series that I've been really wanting to do called DF Rants, where I just rant about shit that pisses me off. So stay tuned for that. Expect that pretty soon. I also want to stream some more. I have not streamed on Twitch or YouTube in a really long time, and I have a pretty good idea of what I want to stream. I just got to get the game first. But yeah, just leave a like if you enjoyed, and until next time, this is it for now. See ya.